Hey everyone. Oh god, wrong button! This is Activist Victor on Advanced Wars by Web. That's what I used to be known as. Kind of interesting story about that. I wanted to be an activist, and then I kind of went into go animate reactions. So yeah, close that. Anyway, gotta kind of hurry if the low power mode thing's coming on. Today we're going to talk about Advanced Wars etiquette with joining games. So this is something that I came up with after realizing that whenever I join games against new players or low-ranked players, I stomp them. Because, well, I'm not a grandmaster by any stretch of the imagination. I am up in like 1130, 1120, 1130. Was up to 1200 at one point, but I think that was because I was just joining and my rating was inflated. Either way, I clearly have some basic understanding of how the game works. So, I would be, I think, accurate to say that I am good at Advanced Wars. Not amazing, but good. So, is it fair to join a game with somebody who is learning the game? You know, kind of like I'm a good poker player. Is it fair of me to join a game with a bunch of people who are just learning how to do the hand rankings? Unless I'm trying to teach them. Like, again, if it's a pre-planned game with friends or in a coaching scenario, that's completely different. But, like, I'm talking about ad hoc games with strangers. So, that's what you can do. You can join ad hoc games with strangers. So, what I like to do is I like to check the ratings before I do that, unless I know the player. Like, here, if I want to join this game with Yale, I check the rating, and it's 1230, which is higher than mine. So, again, if there's going to be a stomp, it's probably going to be on his end. And being a masochist, fine. I'm fine. I don't personally love that, but I'm fine with taking a crack at better players to see if I can learn something about how to actually play the game. That's fine. Like, I'm not forcing a mismatch on his end. You know, it's on the shoe's on the other foot, if that makes sense. I'm not forcing, like, a pub stomp, though. You know, if I want on the other person, that's what I don't like. It's kind of like in TF2 when people continue to sweat even though it's clear they're going to win. It's like, guys, you're just being jerks at that point. And case in point, this guy right here. If I wanted to join his game, well, he's rated 800. He hasn't done any Global League games. He only has 6 games in the bag. That probably indicates a newer player. And newer players are probably not as rehearsed in the game, or at least the competitive scene, as I am. They maybe have played on the cartridge before, but they don't really understand, like, the strategy of, oh, strong side, weak side. Oh, this is what this unit does. This is what this unit's best purpose is. This is when you build this unit. This is what... You know, they don't understand... They understand what they do, but they don't understand the application of the units. I was there once. We were all there once. So, it's very rude, in my opinion, to join games like this with players who are still learning the game when you have a huge understanding of the game. It just seems like a pub stomp. And it doesn't really accomplish anything. At best, it's incredibly disrespectful. Like, I hate when people... maybe I'm unique in this, but I hate when people continue to sweat and try hard when it's clear that they're going to win. Like, so what I've done is if I join these games at all... I tend to I'm going to start underpicking COs. Like, I'm going to pick, if it's a tier 2 match, maybe I'll pick a tier 3 CO, tier 4 CO, make it interesting. You know, give them a chance. But don't join and pick like, the normal level CO and pub stomp them. Because that doesn't accomplish anything, is what I'm trying to say. It's rude, and it might discourage them from ever playing again. Like, could you imagine if the first game you play, you get absolutely obliterated, and the second game you also get obliterated? It's discouraging. You might just give up Advanced Wars and say, well, clearly these people are too good. I don't see the point of playing. I give up. And we don't want that. We don't want that. First of all, I don't like people feeling like they're not good enough. Something I can relate to so much, but that's a subject for another video. Second, Advanced Wars is already a niche enough community. We don't need to be giving people reasons to abandon it, okay? Of course, that's not to say that if it wasn't a niche community, this would be acceptable behavior, but that is definitely another problem with stroking your own ego to get a big pub stomp. So, point taken, check the rating of people before you join. If they're really, really, really low rated compared to you, unless, you know, you're a grandmaster, like if Rip faced off against a 1400 level player, that's a 4 100 level difference, but they're all so good that it probably doesn't mean as much. But if it's like a huge rating difference at the lower ratings, consider not actually playing against them and giving someone else who's more evenly matched a crack. Or if you must play against them, at least consider underpicking. I mean, I know it's not typically good to underpick, but hey, make things interesting. Give them a chance, so to speak. Yeah, that way it's sort of like handicapping yourself in a negative sense, because you know that you're better. So it's like, okay, rather than, just say I'm going to play as hard as I can and play the best I can with the best CO, maybe I pick a weaker CO and see how that works. Get some practice doing them when I'm outgunned in CO territory. Either way, hopefully this video was made right. I don't know. I always liked I like to record these and have a constant flow of dialogue. But at the same time, I feel like I'm always stuffed up, and my head just kind of skips and I stutter a bit. So, I don't know. Hopefully this flowed well. Point being, if you take anything away from this, please do not join games with people that are way lower rated than you and just to pub stomp them. At least if you're going to pick the same top tier CO that's allowed, it doesn't accomplish anything for anybody, and I don't like making people feel like they're not good enough. So don't do that if you can help it. Now, if they join your game because you join an ad hoc game and they happen to say, I want to play against you, I guess that's on them. But if they join first, don't do this. Don't force this pub stomp.